I'm Mira West, 31 years old, a perfumer. My nose can distinguish thousands of scents. The earthy sharpness of iris root, the creamy sweetness of tuberose, the smoky edge of birch tar. The fragrance company I work with is Nova Fragrance. Its CEO is my husband, Derek Nova. We've been married for 5 years. He owns the brand. I own the sense of smell. 3 years ago, I created a perfume. I named it after the storm. Top notes, wet soil and crushed green leaves. Heart notes, white florals and a hint of ozone, that metallic tang in the air right after a thunderstorm. Base notes, moss and wood. I spent more than 1,000 days and nights testing 237 formulas. Derek smelled the first version and frowned.
Too damp, like a basement. No one will buy it.
I ignored him and kept refining. When he smelled the final version, he fell silent for a long time.
This will win.
The Golden Scent Award, the most prestigious prize in the industry, is given every 2 years. Nova hadn't made the finals for 4 years in a row. This year, After the Storm was nominated for Best New Perfume. The night the nominations came out, Derek opened a bottle of vintage champagne. He spun me around the living room, spilling champagne on my dress.
Mira, we did it.
Spun me around the living room, spilling champagne on my dress.
Mira, we did it.
He said we. I thought it was love. The awards ceremony would be in Paris, in 1 week. I started packing, ironing my gown, carefully wrapping the concentrate of After the Storm in bubble wrap. Derek had to leave early for Paris to meet sponsors, and I should fly alone 2 days later. I dinked twice. The morning he left, I was making one last tweak at my perfuming table, lowering the galbarium concentration by 0.5% to make the top notes lighter. He picked up his suitcase and walked to the door, then glanced back at me.
Mira, you're going to make history.
I stood at the perfuming table, holding a Burier, and suddenly something felt wrong. Not intuition, a heavy, specific unease. I set down the Burier and walked into his study, a room I never entered, his private space, always locked. On his desk lay an open document. I picked it up. It was the official submission for the Golden Scent Award, submitted by Derek Nova, Perfume Derek Nova. Attached to the formula was my handwritten record, even the page I'd scratched over and over with arrows and corrections scanned and attached. My name was nowhere. Even the page I'd scratched over and over with arrows and corrections scanned and attached. My name was nowhere. Not a single word. The document slipped from my hand and fell to the floor. He hadn't consulted me. He hadn't hinted at a thing. He erased me from my own creation as cleanly as rubbing out a pencil mark. 3 years, 237 formulas, over 1,000 days and nights, every drop of essential oil I used, every late night I spent, every beaker I broke when I nodded off at the table, all condensed into one line under his name. Suddenly, everything made sense. Why he'd suddenly become so interested in perfumery, why he started coming to the lab constantly, sitting beside me, asking endless questions. Why this for the heart notes? How do you control base note longevity? I thought he was trying to enter my world because he loved me. He was stealing. He was using the title of husband to steal the mind of a perfumer. I picked up the phone and dialed his number. It rang once. I hung up because I didn't know what to say. Yell at him? Confront him? Demand he fix it? What difference would it make? Once he'd submitted it, he wasn't turning back. I stood in his study, surrounded by his scent, aftershave, coffee, leather. That night, I didn't turn on the lights. I sat on the floor, leaning against the leg of my perfuming table, clutching a sample of After the Storm. Moonlight came through the window, and the glass bottle cast a tiny spot of light that flickered on my hand. The house was silent except for the hum of the refrigerator. I finally cried. Not silent tears, not sobbing out loud, but the kind where you bite your lip, hold it in your chest, and press a fist to your stomach. I wasn't crying because my technique was stolen. I was crying because I realized I didn't know when he'd become this man. Maybe he'd always been this way. I just chose not to see. I chose to believe the man who put a ring on my finger at the wedding was not the same man who'd hidden fine print in contracts saying ownership belongs to the company. But they were. They always had been. At 3 in the morning, I got up and turned on the small lamp above my perfuming table. The light lit up rows of brown glass bottles, neat and silent like an army. I picked up a burial and started working. Not on After the Storm. Something new. I spent the entire day calling lawyers. After listening, one lawyer fell silent for a long time.
Mira, do you have proof the formula is yours?
Yes, my handwritten notebooks, dated over 3 years, every page has timestamps.
Are you on Nova's payroll or are you freelance? Did you sign a contract? What does it say?
I dug out the contract. Signed 5 years ago, drafted by Derek. I didn't even finish reading it. I trusted him. I'm an independent perfumer. Nova is my partner brand. I'm not an employee. All perfume formulas created by perfumer Mira West for Nova Fragrance shall have their ownership and intellectual property rights vested in Nova Fragrance. No mention of credit. No mention of perfumer attribution. Mira, the contract is signed. The formula belongs to the company. You can fight for attribution, but you'll be fighting public opinion, not the law. And he already submitted the award in Paris.
The perfumer name can't be changed. The ceremony is in days.
No credit meant no name as the perfumer. He wasn't stealing my formula. He was using a loophole in the contract to turn "I created this" into "the company owns this." And he was the company. He was my husband. The man I'd trusted when I signed that paper. On the fourth day, I flew to Paris. In my suitcase, besides my gown and a sample of After the Storm, was a small brown glass vial, 30 ml, no label. Inside was not perfume, it was a weapon. Before boarding, I wrote a formula list in the waiting lounge. Egyptian orange blossom essential oil 12%, Indian jasmine lute 8%, Gardenia absolute overripe batch 15%, guaiamal diluted to 1%, dried rose infusion, lab made, moldy oak musk, aged 3 years, synthetic sivin, trace amount, mixed in precise order, ratio, and temperature, then left to mature for 48 hours. They would become a scent, not just unpleasant, but sweet rost. Top notes so beautiful they lower your guard. Heart notes slowly turn rotten. Base notes leave a lingering, inescapable feeling of betrayal. I named it Betrayal. I landed in Paris. Derek was there to pick me up. He wore a dark navy suit, his hair perfectly combed.
Hey, honey, you're here.
In the car, I smiled and asked if Paris was fun. He said he'd take me to eat good food. He held my hand, his thumb brushing the back of it. I felt so happy. That night, we drank champagne on the hotel terrace. With the Eiffel Tower lit up.
The day after tomorrow, the whole world will know Nova fragrance.
Congratulations. He smiled happily. He had no idea the champagne in my glass tasted bitter. The night before the award ceremony, Derek went to a sponsor dinner. I stayed alone in the hotel room. I took the small brown vial from the secret compartment of my suitcase, unscrewed the cap. The liquid inside was pale gold and clear. Up close, top notes, orange blossom and jasmine, fresh, sweet, innocent, like the smile of a good wife. But I knew it would change. Slowly, irreversibly, catalyzed by body heat, it would become something else. I took a microsprayer I'd brought from home, lab-grade, ultra-fine mist, no traces left behind. Derek's white shirt hung on a hanger in the closet, a shirt he cherished, only worn on important occasions. Stiff collar, platinum cufflinks, he would wear it in front of the whole world tomorrow. I stood in the closet and took a deep breath. Then I aimed the sprayer at the inside of the shirt, not the collar, not the cuffs, but the chest, right over the heart. I pressed down. The mist settled evenly on the white cotton, almost colorless, no watermarks. I pressed down. The mist settled evenly on the white cotton, almost colorless, no watermarks, just making the fabric slightly damp for a few seconds. When it dried, nothing would show. I sprayed 3 times, ensuring the scent was strong enough to be furred on stage, under the spotlights, amid thousands of breaths. I put the sprayer back in my bag and the vial into the secret compartment of my suitcase. I closed the closet door and went back to the bedroom, sitting on the bed. My fingers were shaking, not from fear. Derek came back. He'd been drinking, his cheeks flushed.
Mira, after tomorrow everything will be different.
Yes. He didn't hear the double beaning. He came out of the shower wrapped in a towel, his hair wet. I sat on the bed in my nightgown pretending to read. He walked to the closet and started picking out his shirt for tomorrow. He picked up the white shirt, looked at it, then put it down, hesitated for a second. My heart raced, but he noticed nothing wrong. He chose a more formal tuxedo jacket and hung the shirt back up.
Sleep early. We have to get up early tomorrow.
I turned off the bedside lamp and closed my eyes. His breathing soon became steady, snoring slightly from the alcohol. I kept my eyes open, staring at the ceiling, Paris ceilings are high, with carved plaster moldings. I stared at it all night. Théâtre du Châtelet. Bright lights. Red carpet from the door to the street. Flashlights popped non-stop. Reporters held cameras and long lenses. Derek wore the white shirt, a dark gray tuxedo a white carnation and held in his breast pocket. He stepped out of wore a champagne gown. My hair up, pearl stud earrings. I smiled. Our seats were in the 3rd row, directly facing the stage. Derek's hand rested on the back of my chair, occasionally squeezing my shoulder to let me know he was there. Once, this gesture comforted me. Today, it confirmed one thing. He was claiming ownership. Not of the stage, not of me, of After the Storm. He thought it was already his. The theater lights dimmed. The host's voice echoed through the hall. Nominees were called one by one, each followed by polite applause. My palms were sweating, not from nerves, but from waiting for the moment he stepped onto the stage.
Best Perfume Nova Fragrance, After the Storm, Perfumer Derek Nova.
On the big screen appeared a photo of the perfume bottle and the formula description I'd written by hand. Under Perfumer was his name. Applause broke out. I heard someone behind me say, "Nova's having a big year." Derek sat up straight and took a deep breath. He glanced at his collar. The presenter opened the envelope. The winner is
Nova Fragrance, After the Storm.
Applause flooded like a tide.
Mira, thank you.
I just watched him turn and walk toward the stage. His back straight, steps steady, every step on the red carpet. He climbed the steps, took the golden trophy shaped like a perfume bottle, heavy, shining under the lights.
Thank you to the judges. Thank you to the Nova team.
He sniffed. I didn't look at his face. I watched his nostrils. They flinched. He smelled it. First top notes, orange blossom and jasmine, fresh and bright. He probably thought it was his cologne or a woman's perfume in the audience.
This perfume took me 3 years of careful crafting, from raw material selection to ratio optimization.
The heart notes began to spread.
The inspiration came from a storm in my garden.
Overripe gardenia, with cluggering rot. The smoky edge of Guizamalt, like something burning far away. The smoky edge of Guizamalt, like something burning far away. I watched him. People in the front row shifted uneasily. One woman covered her nose with a handkerchief. The corner of my mouth tiggled. Not a smile, but confirmation that the dagger had struck. The final layer kicked in. Dried rose, moldy oak mist, civic. The scent was no longer sweet Rost. It was pure, unmasked betrayal. Like someone you trusted most poisoning the thing you loved. No better metaphor existed. Because that was exactly what had happened. Someone coughed. 2 people fanned themselves with programs. People looked around, searching for the source. I stood up. My high heels stepped on the red carpet silently. I walked past the throw, second row, first row. All eyes followed me. A reporter lifted a camera. Flashlight popped. I walked up the stage steps. Derek turned and saw me. His pupils shrank sharply. He opened his mouth, but no sound came out. I stepped to the microphone and gently pushed his hand away. This is the smell of plagiarism. It's the scent of someone else's words, ideas, and hard work. After the Storm was created by me, Mira West. It's the scent of someone else's words, ideas, and hard work. After the Storm was created by me, Mira West. I spent over 1,000 days and nights, 2 and 37 formula versions. My husband, CEO of Nova Fragrance, put his name on my formula when he did not list me as the perfumer. The contract says the formula belongs to the company, so I cannot win in court. But perfume cannot lie to the nose. I held up my left wrist, where I'd sprayed the real After the Storm. This is the real one. You may smell it. It's real. Not loud, but heard by everyone in the silent theater. I held my wrist out to the second row, third row. More people leaned in. Whispers surged like a tide. Different! Completely different! Her top notes have no rot!
This is the real After the Storm.
I turned to Derek. He stood there like a broken statue, still holding the trophy, but his hand shook. Derek, do you have anything to say? He said nothing. He couldn't. His lips moved soundlessly. Then he turned and fled the stage. He knocked over a photographer's tripod. Then he turned and fled the stage. He knocked over a photographer's tripod, stumbled, and disappeared behind the side curtain. No one went after him.
Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony will be paused briefly.
He looked at me and nodded slightly. I didn't know what that nod meant. Sympathy? Recognition? I just stood there, clutching the sample of After the Dorst. The stage lights were hot, burning my face. Someone backstage grabbed my arm. It was a young girl who worked for the organizers. Mira, are you okay? You're so brave. I just stopped acting. She handed me a cup of water. I didn't drink it. I just stared at my hands, at the faint scar from Aburius. 10 minutes later, the head judge returned to the stage. He announced, after an emergency meeting, the award for After the Storm would stand, but the perfumer name would be corrected to Mira West. The jury condemned Nova Fragrance for its submission conduct. The audience burst into applause, not polite, not prosec festus, but genuine, emotional, even cheering. I didn't take the trophy. I stood on stage, looking at the golden statuette being held out to me. I don't want this. I want my formula back. Give me this trophy only after he admits what he did. I walked off the stage. I don't want this. I want my formula back. Give me this trophy only after he admits what he did. I walked off the stage. The red carpet was long, the lights bright. I walked slowly, shaking with every step, but every step was straight. Outside the side entrance of the theater, Derek's car was still parked. He sat inside, his head against the steering wheel. I knocked on the window. He didn't move. I knocked 3 more times. He finally opened the door.
Why did you do this? You destroyed me.
You destroyed me first.
I didn't destroy you. The company needed this award. Your name on it didn't matter.
Derek, that was 3 years of my life. You say it didn't matter? He fell silent for a long time. Streetlights illuminate his face, making his wrinkles deep.
What was I supposed to do? Give back the trophy? Return the formula to you? We're married. What's yours is mine.
I closed the car door, not hard, just gently, but the lock clicked like a ritual. I turned and walked away. My high heels clicked on the Paris cobblestones, fading into the distance. He didn't follow. The next day, the video exploded. Clips from the awards ceremony went viral on social
I
media.
want to expose the biggest plagiarist in the room, my husband.
Social
I want to
media.
expose the biggest plagiarist in the room, my husband.
Headline, Fumer exposes husband's plagiarism live on stage. Views hit 20 million within hours. Thousands of new comments every minute. When she said, "This is the smell of plagiarism," I got chills all over. That man is disgusting. She's unstoppable. Made a betrayal perfume on the spot. Revenge through talent. Textbook independent woman. My phone was flooded with messages. Media requests for interviews. Lawyers offering pro bono help. Fragrance suppliers showing support. But I also got angry calls from Nova's distributors.
Mira, do you know how many livelihoods you ruined?
I didn't ruin anything. He did. His lawyer sent an email, cold and formal. Both parties are requested to remain silent and resolve private. Public statements may be considered nation of the company. We reserve legal rights. I forwarded the email to Leah, an intellectual property lawyer referred by a friend. She replied with one word, "Fear not." So I decided to fight. And I'm not backing down. Leah Goldstein, 45 years old, specialized in intellectual property, 15 years of experience. She asked to meet me at a cafe in Paris. She wore a black suit, her hair cut short, speaking rapidly like a machine bung. She wore a black suit, her hair cut short, speaking rapidly like a machine bung. "Mira, I've reviewed your case. Contract signed. Formula legally belongs to the company, but you have 3 strengths. 1, your notebooks, dated, handwritten, revised, proving independent creation. 2, public opinion is fully on your side. 3, his shirt." My shirt? He smelled betrayal on stage. That scent wasn't an accident. It was olfactory evidence of his theft. You can frame it as your artistic statement. Plagiarists receive olfactory justice. I don't need him in jail. I want the formula. Then I'll negotiate for you. One condition, you stop publicly attacking Nova. I trusted her. Because when she looked at me, she saw a person, not a formula. Leave the rest to me. Negotiations lasted 2 weeks. Nova's board wanted the scandal contained immediately. Stock had dropped nearly 50%. Distributors threatened to terminate contracts. Derek was asked by the board to resign as CEO, remaining only as a shareholder. Someone told me he cried in his office the day he signed. Leah secured the settlement for me. Someone told me he cried in his office the day he signed. Leah secured the settlement for me. All rights to After the Storm, formula, trademark, commercial development would belong entirely to Mira West. In exchange, I would drop all further legal action against Derek and Nova Fragrance and issue a settlement statement agreeing not to comment publicly on the matter. I agreed, because I didn't want his destruction. I wanted After the Storm to signing day at the lawyer's office. Derek didn't come, only his legal representative. I wrote my name on the contract, stroke by stroke. Then I set down the pen, stood up, and left the office. Paris sunlight was beautiful. I walked on the street, breathing easily for the first time. I returned home, back to my perfuming table. Everything was still there, raw material cabinets, notebooks, the concentrate of After the Storm. Except Derek's things were gone, his photos removed from walls, his books cleared from shelves, his scent sucked away by the fan. I looked around and felt for the first time that this space was mine. I took out the After the Storm formula again and wrote in the perfumer line, Mira West. Then I thought about what came next. No factory, no distribution, no funding, only a perfuming table. No factory, no distribution, no funding, only a perfuming table, hundreds of raw materials, and a formula stolen and returned. But I wasn't afraid anymore, because no one could steal me again. I launched a crowdfunding campaign, named After the Storm Restored Edition. I wrote on social media, 3 years ago I made a perfume. 1 year ago it was stolen. Now I am taking it back. I don't need much money. I need a lot of trust. In 24 hours, we raised 1.5 million. Supporters included many strangers as well as perfumers, buyers, and journalists in the industry. This is well-known fragrance blogger reposted, "This is not crowdfunding. This is justice." Derek's former assistant donated 5,000 anonymously with a note. "I worked at Nova for 2 years. I saw him cross your name off documents." I read that note and my eyes warmed, not from being moved, but from confirmation, that I wasn't crazy, that the unease I felt all those years was real. On the day the first batch of After the Storm launched, I went live from my perfuming table. No set, no filters, just me, with hundreds of bottles in front of me. I held up a bottle and spoke to the camera. This is After the Storm. I made it for the world 3 years ago. It was stolen a year ago. Today, it has come home. Only a few hundred we were in live room, but every bottle sold out instantly. Mira, thank you for bringing it back. I smell your courage in it. I smell your support in it. That night, I sat at my perfuming table, breathing in the remaining base notes of After the Storm in the air. Moss and wood, quiet, deep. I suddenly cried. This time, not from grief, but from being held after a very long time. I never mass-produced betrayal. Someone messaged offering 50,000 for the formula. I didn't reply. An art institution approached me to collaborate on an optactic art exhibition themed deception. I agreed.
I made 10 mini versions of Betrayal and placed them on stands with a sign next to things that were stolen. Smell but do not buy. During the exhibition, a woman in a black trench coat stood in front of the stand for a long time. Staff later told me she cried there for 10 minutes. Then bought all the exhibition merchandise at the door. I didn't know her story, but I knew she smelled her own. I later donated all 10 mini vials to the institution. They belonged there more than with me. Derek left the fragrance industry entirely. He sold his shares to investors. Nova Fragrance got a new CEO. On the new CEO's first day, he sent me an email, partner. Mira, Nova is willing to be your preference. No formula control, only manufacturing. This is sincerity. I thought for 3 days and declined. Not out of hatred, but because I wanted a chain that belonged only to me. From raw materials to bottles, from blending to shipping, I wanted to see every step. I found a small local factory run by a woman in her 50s, surnamed Joe.
Interesting scent.
I'd source my own suppliers, order my own bottles, pack my own orders.
You call the shots.
That night, I couldn't sleep. Not from anxiety, but from excitement. After the storm, I launched my second perfume, Tree Hollow. Woody, warm, embracing. Inspired by hiding secrets in the oak tree outside my childhood home. Woody, warm, embracing. Inspired by hiding secrets in the oak tree outside my childhood home. Only one line of copy. Some things you can only say to yourself, now you can say them to a perfume. No ads, no celebrities, no massive marketing. But sales were unexpectedly strong. One customer left a comment, "When I smell it, I think of my dad. He's gone, but he's alive in this scent." I saved a screenshot of that comment on my phone. When I felt low, I looked at it. I started a community for independent perfumers, free online sharing every week. I wasn't the kind to hide knowledge. I shared every mistake I'd made, every fall, how to bargain with suppliers, how to split orders with bottle factories. Someone asked, "Aren't you afraid people will copy your formulas?" Formulas can be copied. The person who makes them cannot. You can use my methods, but you can't make my scent, because you're not Mira West. The community grew from dozens to thousands. Recent graduates in perfumery, stay-at-home mothers who switched careers, retirees rekindling old dreams. Every time I saw photos of their first handmade perfume, I remembered myself. Late at night at the perfuming table. A year later, I received a letter. Handwritten, handwriting familiar. It was Derek. Postmarked from his small hometown in the South. I opened it. A piece torn from a lined notebook, folded 3 times. "Mira, I don't know if you'll read this, but I need to write it. Not to beg for forgiveness, but to remember for myself. I stole your formula not because I wanted the award. I stole it because I envied you. You stand there, close your eyes, and you can smell an entire world. I can't. I've been in fragrance for 15 years. I've never smelled anything by closing my eyes. I only calculate markets, costs, how to package someone else's me. After you left, I tried to make perfume. What I made smelled like disinfectant. I finally admitted it. I can't make perfume. I can only steal. I'm sorry." I read the letter 3 times, then folded it and put it in a drawer next to a clay golden scent trophy I'd made myself. It was ugly, but it had my name carved on it. I never replied to his letter. "What do you think of Derek now?" But it had my name carved on it. I never replied to his letter. "What do you think of Derek now?" He was a top note in my life. Bright, sweet, but gone in a moment. Do you hate him? Once I did. Now I don't. Hating someone means remembering them, and I don't want to spend time remembering him anymore. What do you spend time remembering? Formulas. Scents that brought me back to life. People who typed, "Mira, I support you" in the live chat. After the interview was published, someone commented, "Mira is a queen." I reposted that comment and wrote, "Not a queen, a perfumer. Queens need subjects. Perfumers only need a note." After the interview was published, someone commented, "Mira is a queen." I reposted that comment and wrote, "Not a queen, a perfumer. Queens need subjects. Perfumers only need a nose." My third perfume was released, Erosion. Metallic accord. Top notes rusted iron. Heart notes dried blood. Base notes empty warehouse. A tribute to moments corroded but survived. No grand launch event. This scent is not sweet, not beautiful, not flattering. It's like the hard scab that grows after you've been hurt. Not beautiful, not flattering. It's like the hard scab that grows after you've been hurt. The video hit 1 million views. Many said it was the most painful yet most authentic perfume they'd ever smelled. A female entrepreneur bought several bottles for her team, with a note, "To the courage that was never stolen from us." After Nova Fragrance got its new CEO, it once offered to collaborate on a limited edition perfume with me. They were willing to pay a high fee, on one condition. I publicly state that I had reconciled with Nova. I declined. Why? The money was good, and it would solve my supply chain issues. Money can buy a supply chain.
It can't buy the integrity of standing next to a company that stole from me.
What makes you better than your husband isn't perfumery, it's your backbone.
I was invited to give a TEDx talk. Theme, Sense and Betrayal. Over 1,000 people sat in the audience. The lights were so bright I couldn't see their faces. I wore a white shirt. I wore no perfume. Because I wasn't there to talk about scents. I was there to talk about the people behind them. Have you ever smelled betrayal? At the awards ceremony, everyone smelled it. Have you ever smelled betrayal? At the awards ceremony, everyone smelled it. That scent that turned from sweet to rot, it wasn't an accident. I made it. But I didn't make it to revenge. I made it because I needed to smell my anger. Take it out of my body, put it in a bottle, and then let it go. Creativity stolen can be taken back. Trust stolen cannot always be repaired. But you don't need trust to create. What you need is to stop trusting the wrong people. Trust can be given to many, but not to the one who makes you lose yourself. After the speech, a young woman waited for me backstage.
Miss Mira, I'm a perfumer's assistant. My supervisor took all my formulas and called them team results. I dare not speak up. He's a senior in the industry.
Do you have backups?
Yes, I saved them secretly.
Then keep them. When the time comes, you'll know how to use them.
When is the time?
When you're no longer afraid to lose him. I didn't know if she would fight back, but at least she knew someone understood her fear and believed in her strength. Third anniversary of my brand, but at least she knew someone understood her fear and believed in her strength. Third anniversary of my brand, grown from one perfuming table to a full studio, from one person to a small team.
Miss Mira, should we have a party?
No.
That day, I stayed alone at my perfuming table, creating my 5th perfume. Base notes, white musk and iris. Soft, clean, like freshly laundered sheets.
What scent are you mixing?
The smell of a weekend morning when no one rushes you to wake up. That's exactly what you are now. Derek's flower shop closed. Someone told me he'd opened a small restaurant in his town. I found a blurry video online, taken by a customer. He wore an apron, cooking in the kitchen. Clumsy but focused. His hair was almost completely white. One comment said, "This owner used to make perfume." Another replied, "No wonder his food tastes strange." I closed the page. Sunlight was beautiful outside the window. I picked up a blottler and smelled my new formula. White musk and iris, clean as a deep breath. I didn't hate him anymore. I was finally just indifferent. Today, I moved into my new studio. Twice as big as the old one, floor-to-ceiling windows full of sunlight. Twice as big as the old one, floor-to-ceiling windows full of sunlight. The perfuming table was custom-made, walnut wood, varnished, much larger than my old one. I made a print of the scratches from my old table and framed it. Scratches from burials, knocks from cap edges, marks of these years. No one can steal these marks. Raw material cabinets lined an entire wall, hundreds of brown glass bottles arranged by scent family. On the windowsill sat a rosemary plant, a gift from my assistant. Why send this? A perfumer needs greenery. People don't have roots. Plants do. I took out a new notebook and wrote on the first page, "From today on, every formula is mine. No more we, no more company, just me. The storm has passed. The garden remains." After the storm, the garden finally finds peace. I stand in the center of the new studio, my fingertips kissing the neatly arranged perfume bottles, the tip of my nose lingering on the faint scent of Peter plants intertwined with sunlight. The first ray of sunlight in the new studio falls exactly on my perfuming table. I look out the window. The city skyline is clear and bright, free of dark clouds and the haze of the past. I look out the window. The city skyline is clear and bright, free of dark clouds and the haze of the past. At this moment, I finally understand that rebirth is not about erasing scars, but about loving one's own world despite them. The Independent Perfumer Association sends an official invitation, inviting me to be the keynote speaker at the annual industry summit. With 2 months left until the summit, I don't rush to prepare my speech. Instead, I dive straight into the perfuming table, pondering the formula for my 6th perfume. The inspiration comes from a forest after spring rain, with the moisture of soil, the sweetness of petals, and the lightness of the breeze brushing through branches and leaves. I name this perfume Clear Forest, meaning that after wind and rain, there is always clear in the sky. In between preparing for the summit, I still hold free perfuming sharing sessions every week, both online and offline. The young girl whose formulas were stolen by her mentor is now a regular at the sharing sessions. She brings new formula drafts every time, her eyes firm and bright. She tells me she has finally mustered the courage to submit a real name report to the association, attaching all backed-up formulas in Lotanzi loose. I look at her and see my former self. Yet she has more courage to face injustice than I did back then. The industry summit is held as scheduled, and the venue is filled with perfumers, brand owners, and raw material suppliers from all over the world. I wear a simple off-white long dress with no accessories and walk onto the stage with blotteds of Clear Forest. The theme of my speech is the sovereignty of scent.
I don't talk about business or marketing, only about the inseparable belonging and original intent between a perfumer and their work.
A week after the summit, the industry association announces the investigation results. The senior perfumer who seized his subordinates' formulas has his industry qualifié permanently revoked and blacklisted by the industry. Young girl send me a message saying can join you with Crayfongs create on the peace and revolt. Herwa you mun relief.
I reply to her, Crontation is never a lonely battle. Hold to your intruding, and we'll meet like noon as people.
In late autumn, my brand celebrates its 4th anniversary. Instead of a grand celebration, I invite 20 Corneg members from the community to hold in the small sharing Syrian. Thumma brings homemade snacks, others send self-blended samples. The Show studio is filled with warm life atmosphere and soundrints.
We sit around the perfuming table and share our creative experiences over the past year. Some have fulfilled their dreams of independent creation, while others have found like-minded partners. Karn in the scene in front and realized that my Cheng Sils is not about how many sales, but about illuminating the creative paths of more people.
On a winter afternoon, sunlight streams through the floor-to-ceiling windows onto the perfuming table, warm but not dazzling. I sit on the silver note from these year, 35's books mute embraymentsed and the rafts and revisions, every line in justice.
The rosemary outside the window grows more lush, its green branches and leaves facing the sun and exud inga faint fragrance.
I pick up a blotter and gently smell the fragrance in the air, my heart calm and full. Pick up a blotter and gently smell the fragrance in the air, my heart calm and full, with no regrets nor grievances.
On New Year's Eve, a simple party is held in the studio. Team members, core community partners and funded new perfumers gather together.
We sit together, sharing our gains and insights from the past year, ending about future plans. Laughter and intertwines with fragrance, warm in the winter night.
Someone suggests blending an exclusive New Year's perfume together, with each person adding a favorite spice to complete this special work. I agree gladly. Everyone steps forward in turn, carefully dropping in spices, with no competition or showing off, only tenant cooperation and sincere sharing. This nameless, commercially worthless perfume becomes my most precious work, for it holds the love and companionship of a group people. The beginning of New Year, I receive a special email from the primary school in Derek Sowtown inviting me to be an artisanal issue class, teaching Heisen to recognize and feel sentence. I was somewhat surprised and asked for the reason. The teaching Heisen to recognize and feel sentence. I was somewhat surprised and asked for the reason. The person told me that Derek often told the children stories about scents, claiming that fragrances could soothe the soul, and the kids had long looked forward to experiencing this. After careful consideration, I accept the invitation. Not for Derek, but for those innocent children full of curiosity about the world. On the weekend, I drive to the quiet small town with simple spice samples. The sun is shining brightly, and the fields on both sides of the road are full of vitality. By the Celltown's Trory School, a group of children open their curious big eyes, gathering around the spice peens in my hand and chattering non-stopping. I take out mild spices such as lavender, lemon, mint, and rose, letting the children smell them in or better, telling them the characteristics of each scent and the beauty hidden behind them. Children smile brightly. Some say lavender is like a mother's embrace. Others say lemon is like some sunshine. Their innocent words are simple and healing. Mid-class, I glanced out the window. Derek stood a short distance away, wearing an apron and holding freshly made pastries. He watched the classroom quietly, his eyes soft, free from the restlessness and greed that once plagued him. Married to Liam for 3 years. He never wanted me to get pregnant, so he kept me on birth control. But I felt bad. He kept getting goaded by our families, so I stopped taking it secretly. We neither met each other's eyes nor spoke. In this quiet way, we made peace with the past and reconciled with life. Spring returns and all things revive. My 5th Curve weekend morning is now officially in mass production and launched. Its gentle notes of white musk and iris soothe countless weary souls. Of mended pembers in the independent perfumers community exceeds 10,000. More and more people find the courage to create here and fulfill their perfuming dreams. I still hold the weekly sharing classes, craft every fragrance with care, and guardian of every new perfume shaper. Some ask me what I have gained and lost through all the trials and tribulations along the way. I smiled and replied, I have let go of hollow companionship, humble compromises, and the false confidence built on relying on others. What I gained is my true self, unwavering courage, and the freedom to take charge of my life. As years go by and seasons change, I stay true to my original heart and keep moving forward in the world of perfumery. From the despair of betrayal to the courage to fight back against all odds, from the loneliness of walking alone to the warmth of journeying side by side, every experience has turned into the most precious fragrance. My studio is small, yet filled with passion. My brand is not top tier, yet it upholds my dignity. My life is far from perfect, yet I live exactly as I wish. The downpour will eventually cease, and the haze will fade away. What does not break you will ultimately make you stronger. For the rest of my life, I will not be trapped by emotions, nor confused by my heart, nor rely on anyone else. I will simply be myself. Mira West, a perfume forever. Let fragrances soothe the years, and let passion live up to every moment.